Hello and welcome. My name is Paul Stein, and I'm from Trusted House Painter Academy. On today's show, we've got David Roque on the show. How are you, David?
Hey, I'm doing good, Paul. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for being on the show. David is the founder, the creator of 180 Tape Holder, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Is about efficiencies in your painting business. And as all painters have brilliant ideas all day long, it's true that you can manifest these ideas and bring them to life. So, David, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Just enjoying my day and excited to be here so I can share my product, the 180 tape holder. We're relatively new, so for those that have been purchasing my product, you're one of the very few, if early adopters. So I'm really grateful for that. So, and I hope that continued success, and we can make a difference in the painting trade. And as you mentioned, efficiency. It's all about trying to get more efficient, and I soon realized after the fact is also this can be an ergonomic tool, to help painters, be safe and take care of themselves.
Well, the first question I'm going to ask you right out of the gate is what is the 180 tape holder specifically, and why should painters use it?
All right. Well, that's a great question, obviously. So I got a couple samples here, and what the 180 tape holder is it's a wristband, or a forearm, or you can even put this on ladders. I've seen guys put this on ladders, and so there is an adapter here that holds any width of tape. You can go from like a 3/4 inch tape all the way to a 2 inch tape. Duct tape kind of will sit on here. It's a little heavy, but painter's tape. So, for the most part, if you have somewhere that you want to put your tape without losing it, this is a great tool. Now you have somewhere convenient. The wristband's comfortable. You can use it and have it on, and sometimes you'll forget it. And you're asking, why should painters use this?
Yeah.
Again, it's all about production. We're always trying to maximize our time and maximize the production that we get out of it. And I have also some manufacturing background, and we did studies where you would look at taking motions, if you're repetitive motions, if you're taking an extra step, or if you're doing an extra movement, if you eliminate these, then you realize, wow, I can be much more efficient. And just to give you an example, the taking the tape and then putting it down and then picking it back up, that takes time versus putting it right here. And especially if you're on the ladder, you have a great convenient place to access your tape, and it's said and done. So again, this is something that I invented, and it was brought about some of the pain points that I had as a painter. So here it is.
So I assume then it's all about creating a better profit margin, because with painting, when you give a price, that's your price. And if you go way over the hours, well, guess who eats it, right? So I
Right.
guess, have you seen any like serious, do you have any like use case scenarios or any kind of evidence that it actually does increase your profit margins at the end of it? Like you mentioned, you picked it up, you drop it down.
Yep.
That stuff takes time. Have you ever measured like how many times you do that in a day?
I did. I since I too am a professional painter, this is something that I tested, and I can pretty much attest to the fact that I took the same taping process or masking process, and I did it normally without my 180 tape holder, and I timed myself. And then I used the 180 tape holder, and I did the same exact masking process, and I timed it. And I saw that there was basically a reduction in that amount of time. So we're looking for, it's a bit of a broad range, but we're looking at maybe a 10 to 20% in time savings. So if you think about it, if you're masking for, say, hour and a half, 90 minutes minimum. You may save 9 to 10 minutes now. So instead of doing it in 90 minutes, you're going to do it in 80 minutes. And that's just one person. So if you think about companies or businesses that have crews of 5 or 6 guys
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
day on an hourly time basis, if you have 2 or 3 guys masking and you can cut out 10 minutes per guy, now you're saving yourself 30 minutes of time. And that's just conservative right now that I've gone for. So there's a whole philosophy that is called lean manufacturing that I also was inspired by, doing this here. So I understand, that process is always looking at repetitive motions and eliminate unneeded steps, unneeded movements. And again, like you said, it's all about the bottom line.
Yeah, totally. It's all about efficiencies in your production when it comes to production, that is.
Right.
And one thing I think I'll add to that is that I don't know how many times you put down the tape and then you go somewhere, it's like, where's that tape? And then you got to go
Yep.
back and find it.
Oh,
There's so many different use cases I think that you
yep.
can use. I was going to say, like, give the viewer a couple examples, like you mentioned there on a ladder, but give the viewer a few examples of where this actually comes in handy on a job site.
Yeah. But you nailed it right on the head. You put the tape down and then you get distracted and you come back and you're like looking for the tape, and then you end up opening up another package to get a new tape. And before you know it, you end up with 3 or 4 different rolls that have already been used. Now, a really good example of that I find this is especially when you're up on a ladder and you're masking, and you're masking something and you need to put that roll of tape down. Either you're going to put it on the top step of the ladder. If it's an extension ladder, you really have nowhere to put it. So something like this, you can put your tape right on this, and you have accessibility. You can, pretty much work hands-free. And the nice thing about this is that it still allows you to have the natural motion of using a roll of tape. So there are some competitors out there, and everybody has a different niche. So there's some people that want to have a dispenser at a waist. It works for them, great. My thing is that's just not a natural motion. As a painter that I have, and I've been doing this for some time. The natural motion is just to grab the roll of tape and just continuously go it, and then cut it off. And when you're done, you got to have somewhere to put it, and putting it on this, it's really going to help. So,
but it's not a dispenser, right? It's not a tape dispenser.
No, it is not. And
Okay.
that is a great point. I have people that are like, "Oh, it doesn't turn." I'm like, "No, this is a dispenser. It's not a dispenser. It's a holder." Hence the name. That's why we went with a holder. So yeah, there's 2 different classifications, if you will. There are dispensers and there's a holder, and this is definitely going to be that holder. There's no moving parts. It's all solid state. It's pretty rugged. If some people are like, hey, I don't want to put it on my wrist, I want to put it a little higher on my forearm, you can.
Nice.
Somebody even mentioned it, putting it along, strapping it on your thigh. Okay.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
But again, it's the concept of it being a holder, and having your tape readily accessible.
Yeah, well, when you mentioned being on the top of a ladder, I love heights. I love 40-foot ladders. I've spent a ton of time up there, and I love masking stuff and doing stuff. So
Yeah.
when I'm up there, I do this.
Yeah.
And then I go to do it again, and there's teeth marks in it.
Yeah.
And I missed that. So yeah, absolutely. When I saw your first video online of you doing that, I was like, nah, why? What? Like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. So yeah, it really helps.
It definitely is at when you're on a ladder, it definitely helps. So I've gotten a lot of great feedback in that regard, and not having to lose your tape you got somewhere convenient. And yeah, just the whole mouth thing, been there, put it between your arms and your waist.
Plus, how many other painters did that too? You know what I mean? So it's like, who knows where that
Well,
roll of tape was.
so can I take a quick, get a roll of tape so I can give you an example?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I want to show here. Hold on, give me a second. So I was missing my prop, so I wanted to make sure that I get the prop. There's a couple things with this is I do want to show that it is a tape holder. You could sit here and wiggle it. It's not going to go anywhere. It really is not going to go I really have to. I can probably get this thing to fling off, but that's a conversation for another day. So just know that it's just a holder. It does this, and it allows you to have it in place. So now it's really comfortable. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure I had the prop here so people can see and how easy. And there is a unique feature to this that, literally, I guess because I've done it so many times, but there is a self-guiding tapers on the top here. So if you are up in the ladder, right, the last thing you want to be doing is looking at your hand to try to, do this.
Yeah.
And then you end up falling off, right?
That's
so smart. You pretty much can be looking away, and you just kind of feel it, and it's just going to guide on it. So that was one of the features that I wanted to make sure that you instead of trying to sit there and figure this thing out, it's just kind of get it in the ballpark and then push it down, and it goes on, and it comes right off. So
well, let's talk more about the features of this actually 180 tape holder. Like, for example, what is the fabric strap made of, and is it like machine washable?
Yeah. So the fabric is a nylon polyester. It's a medical grade. This is something that you'll see on in the hospitals. I guess they got these breathing masks that they put on people, and it's the same strap that they use. So this is double layered, if you will. So it's not just a single layer. We pretty much double the layers on there for comfort. And then what I did do is I have multiple adjustments on this here. So it is really soft. The machine washable, it is machine washable because I figure after some time these things are going to get pretty filthy and dirty. However, we may even entertain just the replacements for the bands, because that's what's going to go. I mean, this adapter here, these are made out of a really durable plastic. Yeah, I'm pretty sure eventually I'm probably going to get people who want to replace just the bands. So I think that's going to be something we can do.
That's
yeah. Now the whole different features about this, there's multiple Velcro adjustments on this. So there is an adjustment on here, there's adjustment on over here, and then you turn it around, and then there's a third Velcro adjustment on the back side of this here. So I did that just because this way on the multiple adjustments, you can adjust it to fit really, really big wrists. So you got somebody with a really big wrist, they can, open it up more and more. Of course, there's going to be limits to that. Or if you have somebody with a really small wrist, we can pretty much narrow that down, and you'll be able to see now you got somebody with a really small wrist, they could pretty much put their hand through that. So, it's just like anything else, there is a learning curve. You just get used to it, but just nice and snug.
And here's a dumb question. Do you sell them for right hands and left hands? I'm sure you've got that question before. Come on, you got to say that.
You're the first. It's not a dumb. It's actually a really good question. It's a really good question.
Like a left-handed pen or a left-handed paintbrush, right? You get the guy to go get the left-handed paintbrush.
Yeah, there you go. Give me the left-handed 180 tape holder. Yeah, I don't even know how to answer that one, but
No, it's all good. It's more of a joke, but
left and right-handed, so you just,
so it's ambidextrous. It can go on
I
any
mean,
limb, you can
exactly.
go on your ankles if you want, your thigh if it's
Yeah,
skinny enough.
yeah, exactly. So,
That's cool. So what kind of tape? Like you mentioned earlier in the show that some of the tape, so there's half-inch tape, 1-inch tape,
right.
2.5-inch tapes.
Yep.
What does that fit? Does it fit them all?
It does. It really does, So, the nice thing is the core size of most of the tapes that we use in the industry for painting are pretty much a standard size. The diameter of it is a fixed size.
Yeah.
So as long as that diameter is roughly about 77 millimeters, you should be able to put that on this holder here. The width is independent of that.
I see.
So if you want to get, say, 2 3/4 inch tapes on this thing here, you probably could. And I have a video where I did put a really, I think it was one of the thinner widths of frog tape, and then I put the blue tape on top of it. So I was able to hold two different tapes, because, you think about it as a painter, if you're using the frog tape, which is pretty expensive,
Yes.
and you want to get some nice lines, and then you're masking off the floor, you're putting paper down on the floor, you're not going to use frog tape for that. You're going to use your blue tape or something a lot less expensive. So I did find myself, thinking about that, saying, okay, this can be versatile where I can put, the blue tape, or if I put it down, I'm masking, or I'm doing something with the green tape, and then I'm looking for the blue tape. So this way, with a tape holder, you can actually have two different tapes on the one adapter.
Or you could
It
just
works.
load up a guy and say, "Hey, go mask those windows. I'll see you at lunchtime," right?
Yeah, there
And
you
he doesn't
go.
know what he
Yeah.
needs.
Yeah, and if even then, what would be cool too is if you have one on your left hand, and then one on your right hand, and
Oh,
you
you
have,
got double that. You're double fisting it, right?
yeah, you got two different tapes. You can have, the green tape here and the blue tape over here,
Or you
or
could have
orange
two on
tape.
one hand, two on. You could have four on.
There's so many different
What?
combinations.
It's
And
brilliant. It's brilliant.
we were making light of it, but I can see it happening.
I'm sure that all the painters out there that's going to buy this product and use it, they're going to come up with a million other ways of
Oh,
using it that you and I never talk about, because
I,
that's what
I,
painters do. They just come up with ideas all day long. Could be all the paint they're sniffing. I'm not too
yeah,
sure, but I know as a painter, I come up with ideas all day long, inventions all
yeah,
day long. I hear other painters say the same. So that's
yeah.
hilarious. So is this only for painters? Is it for carpenters, DIYers, homeowners? Like, is it for everybody?
Um, there is some other trades that can use this. There was a gentleman that was using the seam tape, the drywall seam tape. Fits right on here, and he had his drywall tape on here. Um, so there is different tapes that you can use it for industries. I'm trying to look at, drywallers. Even I reached out to a gentleman that is painting semi trucks, and he
Mm,
does tremendous amount of painting and masking and being up on ladders. The 180 tape holder, could be of use to him. People
totally.
that are in the airline or aircraft painting
Yeah,
industry.
exactly.
You think about this; these guys are painting these huge, huge airplanes, and they're up on, lifts, and they're masking, and they're, because you got to cover the stuff up. So I'm not quite there, but it is versatile enough for say the professional painter. But if you do have a homeowner, a DIYer,
Yeah.
um, they're gonna take on, painting, a 3 bedroom house. They'll find something like this very useful. And you just never know, besides masking and when you're painting, there may be other items that you're taping, boxes, or you may be making lines on the concrete or something. So
That's so true.
um,
I even thought like the
yeah,
automotive industry, like taping, detailing, and spraying, that could be helpful
right.
too, because they use super
Yeah.
thin tape lines too, so they could put like a whole bunch on there, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So, yeah, it could be quite versatile. Even like I said, from your professional painters, contractors, and different trades, all the way down to your homeowner. Definitely.
Sweet. So I guess the big question is, where can painters buy this product? Where can they get this? Can they find it in paint stores or just to your website?
Yeah, so for now, we launched about 2 months ago. So this is relatively new for us to be out in the market. We haven't gotten into any retail or any paint stores, but that would be a wonderful goal that we're trying to achieve. But for now, you can go to the website. It's www.180tapeholder.com, and you can go and read a little bit more about the product, how to use it, what it's used for, and what it retails for. So we do ship all in the U.S., and we're doing some shipping internationally. So I know that for folks in Canada, we're going to go ahead and start servicing them there. And so, yeah, everything's pretty much done online through the website.
That's cool. That's really cool. So another question I'm sure you've had, maybe not, maybe this is something that you're going to hear, is if I wanted to buy my whole team one, do you provide bulk discounts if I buy 10 or anything, or is it just kind of like an individual price at your website for now?
Yeah, for somebody like that has a large team, of course, we would love to have a discount for them, and we can offer that. So if they
Cool.
can contact me through the website, or we're even on Instagram,
Mhm.
Facebook, and got onto TikTok. And I haven't done much TikTok myself, but there's
Get on it.
people that are doing that already, and they're a lot better than I would just stick to my gifts, and and leave that's the TikTok stuff or whatnot to the pros.
It's actually pretty
But
easy. I think you'd do great at it, and I think
yeah,
you'd have a huge following because there's a ton of painters on there too. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess one of the last questions about the actual 180 tape holder is, what colors does it come in? Can I get company colors with it?
Um, we for now, I would like, we got, the reds, and we have an orange color, and we'll have the grays. And so we're trying to see what the market is asking for in regards to colors right now. And if we find that, one color is quite popular, we'll go with that. And if we get requests for perhaps even changing the color of the band. So if somebody is I don't know. I'm a big college fan, so the orange and the blue, gives you the Boise, right? Since you're in Idaho, I figured, being up there, that's the Idaho, Boise State colors, orange and
Nice.
blue.
Yeah, well,
Even
if you're watching this right now and you want to let David know what color, put it in the comments. Put in the comments what
yeah,
color you think is best, and let's do a tally. Let's get some numbers for him so
yeah.
we can get these.
So and I was just thinking about that, the black and gray. You got your Raider fans or something. I have no,
Nice. Yeah.
but it's just kind of ideas are coming up. But yeah, for now we have we have the reds, we have the safety orange that we know about, and I call it the macho gray. For those of us that like to be neutral and not too flashy.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure you'll get speckled paint. Perhaps you won't get. I will probably get speckled paint on it because that's the kind of
Yeah,
painter I'm clean, but I definitely have that, production. If there's not a little bit of paint spilled, then you're not really working hard enough. I'm
right.
kind of that.
Yeah,
My
exactly.
last life, I was a waiter, and the supervisor
Get
would
the
come in and
feeling.
look in the big garbage at the end of the day and say, "There's not enough plates broken. You're not
Oh
moving
wow.
fast enough." And then he would walk
Yeah,
in and he'd say, "There's too many plates broken. You're working too
yeah.
sloppily." So there was a fine balance of how many plates should be broken in a night. So
Oh
I
my
kind of
God.
similar to the painting industry. So that's cool, man. So
Hilarious.
basically 180tapeholder.com, that's where people can find your tape holder, 180 tape holder. You
Yeah.
can buy them there. Let's talk a little bit about you. Because I don't know who you are and how you got into the industry. So my first question about you, I just got a couple questions, is like, who are you and why did you get started in the painting industry, David?
So yeah, again, my name is David Roque, and I started getting into the painting industry about 15 years ago, I got into fixing and flipping homes, and I got into the construction trade, and ended up falling in love with painting. I had a older brother who was a painter, and he would kind of mentor me, and even yell at me when I'd make mistakes, and use your drop cloth, you know, and trying to get a straight lines. I wanted to just do everything perfect. And it's like, no, we got to hurry up. I'm like, wow, so. But brushing, rolling, spraying, did it all. And then I ended up going to university. I got a master's degree in chemistry, and going into chemistry and the painting, it just fascinates me. There is so much chemistry that is involved in painting that I didn't realize until more I thought about it. And I have a passion for both. I have a passion as a chemist, and I have a passion as a painter. And now I guess I can add a title as an inventor. So I think it's just because of the way I'm wired, problem solve. If I see a
Painter.
problem,
You're a
yeah,
painter.
yeah, exactly. And I think as painters, we're just always having to think about problems and how to resolve them, because, as you know, no job is the same.
That's right.
You're always gonna learn something, and you're just, pulling out, all your tricks of the trade, just just as a painter. And at the end of the day, you can take something that was like, wow, this was a challenge, it was fun, but it looks awesome. And but yeah, I'm from San Diego. Been born and raised in California, so I haven't left the state. And San Diego's been awesome. Weather's great, and I'm married, raised three boys, and
Beautiful.
so we've had a great run. My best business partner, and with the one and only business partner right now that I have is my beautiful wife. So she's the one that has been my biggest cheerleader. And when there is doubt, when I figured, I don't know, I was doubting myself, I was second guessing myself. She was the one that continued to push me and light that fire, and just gave me the inspiration to continue with the creation of the 180 tape holder. Because definitely getting a product to market and whatnot is a lot of work, and having her as part of my team, I really can't say how much I really needed it. And also the customers that are and the feedback I'm getting, it's making a difference, so that means a lot.
So all you painters watching right now know that you can do it. If you've got a crazy idea, a brilliant idea, you too can do exactly what David did. And if you
Yeah,
need advice, call him. Call David. Here, we'll put his
yeah,
number on there. And you can call
yeah,
him, you can email him, you can ask questions. I'm sure he'd be happy to help you navigate through the discovery of creating something from nothing. Because that's
yeah,
exactly what you've done, David. You created
yeah.
something from an idea. Now, quickly mention before the show, you mentioned to me the trigger that thought of this tape idea, 180 tape holder. Maybe briefly say that again to the viewers, because I thought it was a brilliant idea.
Yeah, the whole idea about when during the pandemic, everybody was trying to be clean and germ free and protecting themselves, and I'm masking, and I'm on a ladder, and I'm having a tape, and I ended up you know doing this, and I figured this can't be good for me. There's just got to be so many germs and whatnot. So um, that is kind of the thought process that helped me and inspired me to continue to come up with the 180 tape holder. Just been putting it between my arms and trying to put my legs. Oh, and,
Hilarious.
and one last thing too before I forget. And this is why I really, now I remember why I got the roller tape too. Um, if you will, and this is kind of funny. A lot of guys are like, "Hey, I just use my wrist." Great. Okay, this is my left hand. Okay, and it slides on. It's a little rough. This is my right hand, and it is a lot tighter. So I'm getting guys that are like, I got big old gorilla hands, or I got big old hands, or something. And I had one customer, that's where he was the one who told me, he goes, guys like me, we got big old gorilla hands, and we can't put, our hands through the center of the tape. And this alone right there has been such, a relief, having the solution now where, they can hang with the guys that are, doing this now, So again, at the end of the day, um, there's going to be something for everybody. And some people are going to continue to say, well, I just use my wrist. I'm just going to use my wrist. But if it works for you, great. Just think about, the disadvantages, you're rubbing against your hands. Again, this whole process of putting and sliding it on multiple times throughout the day,
Yeah.
that is such an inefficient movement, where if you have it, already readily on your wrist, it's very easy to get on and to get off. And the efficiency of that movement versus doing this, that little, if it may be half a second or so, it adds up again and again and again. Before you know it, you're just like, okay, where was this 180 tape holder a long time ago? So that there is going to be some educating, and getting people to understand, why do you need this? And apart from, having painters stop, or even, do it yourselfers, I'm sure they do the same thing too. So, this right here, it's just, I'm probably gonna have to go.
That's a thing of the past. We got the 180 tape holder now, right? That's the whole idea behind it, right? It's
Right. Yeah,
creating
definitely.
efficiencies in your production so that you can make more money as a painter, being organized. These are all traits that, painters take a long time to learn.
Yep.
As a senior painter, I've trained like a lot of guys, and it's always these inefficiencies
Yep.
that burn guys out. They tire them out. You break
Yep.
tools, you lose tools. So,
Yep.
and I've noticed that in my life, as a painter, I see a gimmick or I see a tool and I think gimmick. And
Right.
I don't know if that's like straight up with everybody, but once you try it and you see how efficient it is, you
Yep.
love it, and then you're a fan of it. So I think if you're watching this right now, and you can buy one of these and try it, I think you'll enjoy it, and it'll just level your professionalism when you meet your client, when you show them that you don't have loose rolls of tape everywhere. It's actually somewhere structured on your wrist, and I'm sure you'll get talked about it too. So, David, what is your vision? What is your grandiose vision for 180 tape holder? Like worldwide, in every tool, every painter's van. What do you see for the vision of 180 tape holder?
Absolutely. Right now, since I'm Mexican descent, I see a lot of the Latino and Mexican workers, especially here in California. There is a disconnect between them and even those of us that speak English fluently. But these guys are out there. They're doing a lot of the great work. There's a lot of great painters in that community. And first, my vision would be to be able to reach across to them, and then take it to areas like in Latin America and even Europe. And if we can get it into some of the big retail stores, great, but my focus would be more specialty paint stores. Would be something I would love to have that as something that we can do. And it's not easy. I know that it takes a lot of work, and the financing behind it, but it's exciting, and I'm willing to put forth the work, and eventually, I know we're going to get there. And when I get out to a work site, and you see somebody using your product, and that in itself is quite satisfaction. And just knowing that, and I'm not like one to really kind of be so like boastful and be like, oh yeah, I'm an inventor of that, or I that's my product, or anything like that. I just kind of quietly watch and just enjoy it, and just to look to see that that's going to be a reality soon.
And one of the ways you do this as an inventor is you protect your asset. So you protected your asset as well?
Yeah, definitely. There's still some learning that we have to come across. But yeah, first and foremost, you know, get the patent, work with patent attorneys. So I have people, again, you can't do it all. So just knowing that you can have professionals around you, that can do those things for you, get the proper accounting. And then, I have met some really good people online through, the social media networks, and they're also inventors, and we're all aspiring, and we talk and we share ideas, and we give each other product, and so it's kind of like, hey, I'll give you 2 of these if and you send me 10 of those, and we'll share each other, we'll talk about each other's products, and just having that network of people is very vital. And I'm sure, the liabilities, protect yourself, and, for future liabilities, very well aware of that, just not only in my 180 tape holder, but as a professional painter, things happen and people are going to want to see you. So, again, yeah, just be protected.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the world is ripe right now for really cool inventions,
Um,
especially technical revolutions such as Bitcoin, blockchain, NFTs. What
oh,
you've got there, even though that's in the field, I think
yeah.
there's a lot of we're in a paradigm right now where there's a lot of creative juices flowing and a lot of opportunities to open up the world. And as you said, social media has done that big
Yeah.
time. So I also think I'd love to see 180 products, a whole variety of different products too, of tape holders and
Right.
whatever else you create. I'd love to see it and I'd love to support you. So I
Right.
guess my final question to you has nothing to do with your 180 tape holder. It has to deal with you. And what would you give? What one single piece of advice would you give any painter watching this show right now, whether he's an employee or employer, a business owner, a solopreneur, whatever you want to call them? What single piece of advice would you give them that will help them, sustain their business, grow their business, and help customers, whoever they
Right.
touch?
So the very first thing I would say is, make sure you have passion for what you're doing. And this goes for just anything that you're doing in your life. But if, as a painter, if you're passionate, um, then you will realize you're going to have some great successes, and then there's going to be some failures. But the biggest thing then, during those failures and the difficult times, you need to look at the opportunities that you can find through that. And what I mean is, you are going to go through a challenge, and out of that challenge, something good comes out. And let me give you an example, especially for during the pandemic. There's a lot of businesses that what they were using the term pivoting, and they were taking their business and they're thinking out of the box to serve and generate businesses ways that they didn't think about. But because of the pandemic, they were forced to. And that's the one thing that I figure, if you're passionate about something, given any challenge, you will find those opportunities. But you can't just focus on the failure. You have to realize that that failure is where you're going to find some of the greatest opportunities.
It's great, David. I love it. I always say focus on what you want, not what you don't want. And
Right.
so often too, someone says, "Hey, do you want to go do this?" And you instantly think what you don't want to do. What's your
Yeah.
favorite car? Well, I don't like those Volkswagen. Well, I didn't ask you what you didn't like. So it's very, like you said, it's a mindset of being
Yeah.
focused and having a passion and going forward. So
And
those are
having
wise
passion.
words. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for being on the show today, David. You can go to it was 180tapeholder.com.
Yeah.
That's where you can purchase your 180 tape holder devices.
Yeah.
If you've got any questions, we'll put it in here. You can contact David at 180tapeholder@gmail.com. There's his phone number down there. David, any last words you'd like to shout out, or any last things?
Yes. Congratulations on being a daddy. You're going to be a great father. So,
Awesome.
like I said, through the challenges, you'll find the greatest opportunities, and raising children, they're a great blessing, and you'll have many blessings. And you'll have some challenges, but you love them to death, and you just work through that. And congratulations. I'm very grateful that you've taken the time, and I imagine you got to get to your wife here shortly. So, hopefully, you'll remember at least a word or two I said.
And I thank you again for being on the show. And if you're watching this right now, my name is Paul from Trusted House Painter. You can catch more of our shows on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're everywhere pretty much. So thanks again for being on the show, David. And you can pick up your 180 tape holder at 180tapeholder.com. So thanks again, David. Take care.
Hey, thanks a lot, Paul. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.